3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to Geekvice episode 256, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph. That man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
How are you doing this week, Mr. Kip?
I am doing pretty well.
That's always
Got
good.
the yard mowed today, so I'm feeling good. Now it can rain, whatever the hell it's going to do.
Yeah, well, so this last week, with all the rain that we've gotten, I mowed last weekend, and I wasn't able to get mow, or I guess a week ago, and I wasn't able to get the yard mowed the last couple days because it had rained so much. And man, in just 1 week, like, my grass is tall and thick and ridiculously hard to mow, and that was a
Yeah.
pain today. But hey, there could be worse things, right?
Now picture, if you will, some poor wretch who hadn't mowed since 2 Sundays ago,
No.
trying to mow his yard today.
That was you, wasn't it?
That was me.
Man, I can only imagine, because I know how tall mine was and how big of a pain mine was, and I only had to do my backyard today because my wife mowed the front yard yesterday. So, yeah, it was.
I did both.
I can only
Yeah.
imagine, man. That's brutal.
Yeah, I wore this gray shirt, and it was completely soaked.
Yeah, and
There was
warm.
not a dry spot on the shirt. So when I get done here, it's shower time. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's me too. Yeah, it was warm today. It's supposed to be warm all week, all weekend. I feel like we're heading into the summer months. I'm okay with
Yeah,
this.
I feel so. I'm good with it as well. I mean, it was only supposed to be like mid-70s today, and it got to 87.
Yeah.
So they kind of missed on that forecast, but I spent it all indoors all day, so I didn't notice until I walked outside and the sun hit me. It's like, oh, it's going to suck mowing the yard.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got, it's the end of school's coming up, so it's got lots of stuff going on. We've got field day at the elementary school on Thursday, and of course my wife and I always volunteer for field day because it's so much fun playing, goofy games with the kids, whether it's soccer dribbling races or basketball shooting or scooter races or parachute or whatever goofy game they come up with at the school. So looking forward to being really tired at the end of Thursday when we spend all day in the sun and it's supposed to be like 90 degrees.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
At least the humidity isn't out right now. I mean, but when it does, it's gonna suck. As I told my parents tonight, it's like, what, the humidity, it kills a lot of things, including my desire to go outside. So
yeah, that is an understatement. So this week on Geekvice, we got a whole different episode for you because we've been really busy and things have just made the real life stuff that we have to do just makes things really hard sometimes to do all the geeky things we really want to do. So also, being really nice outside means I don't play any board games because we're not inside to play the board games. So I haven't played a board game in quite a while. I think the last time I played was when I was at Red Crow drinking with the kids. That sounds bad. Having drinks and the kids were there. And we played flapjacks and Sasquatch.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh man, they hate losing. That's for sure. So yeah, it's been a long time since we've played any board games. I haven't really played a lot of video games. Haven't. I'm starting to run out of back episodes of the backlog of Geekvice Gaming. So I've got one more. I think I got 3 more episodes to edit and get posted. to try to help cover for the weeks that I'm going to be gone here coming soon. And yeah, it's so I'm running out of stuff. Been really busy, not really getting to do a whole lot. So
Yeah,
this,
it's been fun. So just to kind of get into my topic,
yeah.
my all of last week was taken up with one activity.
Oh, that's never good.
No, so I had this happened to me about 5 years ago or so. I think we worked together when this happened the first time. I just get this really bad sensitivity to sunlight, and I can't freaking see.
Mm.
My eye just waters. It burns. I can't keep it open. Makes it really fucking tough to drive.
Yeah.
If I wear my sunglasses, it's tolerable. I can. I usually still end up just driving with one eye open because my right eye is just bad. Well, 5 years ago or so when that happened, they're like, "Oh, it's your allergies. Here, use these drops," and it went away, and it was fine. So it happened again this year, and it's like, you know what? It's not horrible, horrible yet, but it's getting there. I better go see the eye doctor. So I go and see him on a Tuesday, and he looks at it and goes, "Holy cow! There's a lot going on here in this eye. It's just my right eye." And I'm like, "All
That's
right, what's going on? Am I going blind? Tell me, doc, what's going on?" And he's like, "No, I didn't mean to make you panic or anything, but I can't tell if it's allergies or something viral, or I'm sitting there like, holy shit, what the hell's wrong with my eye?" So he gives me steroid drops, which is what they gave me the first time, and then he says, "Well, I'll need to see you again tomorrow." It's like, holy cow, this is bad. Doctor, when an eye doctor says, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to see you again tomorrow," it's
yeah.
usually,
This,
it's usually not happy news.
yeah, when any doctor says, "Yeah, I'm gonna need to see you tomorrow," you're just like, "What? What?" Like that's not even enough time to do anything.
Am I gonna
Why
die?
don't I
Yeah,
just?
it's
Do we have like a inpatient procedure here? Can I just like sleep on one of the beds here? Because what's the point in
yeah.
going home?
Can I just put an ice pack on my eyeball? I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
So I I'm supposed to take the steroid drop 4 times a day. My eye appointment was over lunch on Tuesday, so I did manage to get 3 of the drops in Tuesday and one drop in Wednesday before I go and see him again. And the eyeball is not red anymore.
That's
It's
good.
like, wow, this is awesome. So this should be it. He'll look at it and say, "Yep, keep doing what you're doing, and then I'll be done." No, that is not what happened. He's like, "Yeah, the eyeball looks pretty good, but the eyelid underneath the eyelid is still really irritated, and we just want to make sure we get everything right. So use the eye drops." And I'm thinking, okay, I can keep using the eye drops, and then I'll see you again on Friday. It's like, oh my god, you got to be kidding me. So I go back on Friday.
Why? So the question that I ask, okay, so you were there on Wednesday and you were there on Tuesday, then you had to come back on Wednesday, and now he's giving you an extra day. What was he doing on Thursday? Did he have a golf outing that he like couldn't miss? That he's like, oh, don't come in on
Possibly.
Thursday.
It's
Like,
possible.
oh, I see how it is, Doc.
Yeah, so I'm taking these steroid drops. I'm being really good about taking all I'm supposed to take. And I go back on Friday, and now everything is like good. He's like, okay, apparently it wasn't viral. It is the allergies. So he gave me a schedule to like wean myself off the steroid eye drops, which I didn't know needed to be done, but apparently you can't stop cold turkey or all this inflammation will come back.
All right, all right.
So I'm in the process of winding down the steroid. And before I even went to the eye doctor, I went to Walgreens and got these drops that are for allergies for your eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, oh yeah, and I want to tell you about this over-the-counter drop that you can buy that'll be really good for the allergies. It ended up being the exact same stuff I already had, so that was
Nice.
good.
Yeah, look at you.
The
Proactive.
worst part of all of this, 3 trips to the eye doctor, one thing of steroid drops that are prescription strength. Hey, cat. And my insurance covered none of it.
Oh, that's
They're
brutal.
like, if we charge your insurance, we're gonna have to charge you $100. It doesn't meet your deductible, and you're gonna owe $100. Or we can just not use the insurance, and you can pay 50.
I'll pay the 50.
Yeah, so I paid the 50, and then I
Yeah.
get to Walgreens pharmacy, and they're like, "Yeah, your insurance really doesn't take anything off the cost. Let me see if I can find something where I can take a discount off of it." And I'm thinking, holy shit, how much are these drops? And it's like, why do I have insurance? They're not covering anything anyway.
Right? Yeah.
Um, and then he's like, okay, I found you I got you a discount off of some deal. And he rings up and goes, that'll be $22.46. It's like, holy cow, he's panicking for this. It's like, what was it before? $34. It's like, oh man, I thought it was gonna be like $300 the way you were talking, but
Yeah. Like, well,
so
and that's the thing. I find it really funny because it's like sometimes you wonder. It's like, well, dude, if you think $30 is a harsh price, like I get it. That's high for some drops, but if I gotta have them, I gotta have them.
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, I could see it if, like you
do
said,
I
it was
look?
$100 or more.
Yeah, do I look like somebody who can't afford $30?
Maybe I do. Maybe I look like I can't afford $30. I don't know. But
I'm sh- I'm
yeah.
sh- I'm sure the
So
Walgreens
unlike
pharmacists
a
are.
regular doctor, where if you go to see them for a certain thing and they have to schedule a, a second visit
Yeah,
for the same thing, it all stays under that one visit, so you don't get charged for both visits.
yeah.
Not that way with this eye doctor.
Oh, so you
So
had
each
fifty
time I
bucks
went
three
was 50
times.
bucks. So 3 times 50, and then $22 for the eye drops.
Well, at least your eyes fixed.
My eye is fixed. No thanks to my insurance.
Yeah. Next time you should just talk to him about getting a bionic eye,
That would have been awesome.
right?
Yeah, I should have talked to him about that.
Then you can have that wah, 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 wah play every time you use it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Imagine what you could see. It'd be bad in my hands, that's for sure. But yeah, it was. So that took some time. Plus you're worried about it, especially after the
Yeah.
first visit. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to see you again tomorrow. And you're like, am I going to get an eye patch? What the hell's going on? Am I only going to have a
Right.
left eye?
Yeah.
But apparently it was the same thing as it was 5 years ago. And I just had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get what I needed, but it's done. But I did get to play board games this week, so I do at least have that going for me.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. I don't have anything fun and exciting like that. I
I'm not sure
do.
fun is a word I'd use.
The thing that seems to be taking up my time is just all my kids stuff, and it getting to be the end of the school year, which always makes it hard. But um, so my I don't know, as anyone who's listened to this show for any amount of time knows, I'm a big soccer fan, and I do a lot of soccer stuff. And it is official now. Next year, I will be a soccer coach as well. So um,
Nice.
I will be my both of my kids play with the Legends Soccer Club here in Kansas City, and it's a premier club of for competitive soccer players, and I really like their philosophy. My oldest one has been playing with them since he was 2, and he's 10 now, so he's been playing there for 8 years. And my youngest one started up eight. We went off and on with him from like 3 to 6 before he really decided, yeah, he wanted to play, and so now he plays on he's a little too young to be on their competitive team, so he kind of has his own little team, and they were needing coaches, and they've been bugging me for the last couple of years to coach, and because I'm up there all the time anyway. And this year I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll do it if you give me. I told him the caveat is I have to have one of my kids. Like I have to coach one of their teams. Like I can't take on a third team because I already manage both my kids' teams and I can't take on a third one. That's just too many. That's too much time commitment. I can't do that. I don't have that much time. And so they agreed to that, and so I'm coaching my oldest one plays on a really high level team. So I'm not quite qualified to coach him, but since my youngest one is technically not in the competitive age bracket because he is only 7 years old right now, I get to coach his team with funny thing is one of the director of the club's son who is in college right now. He is my co-coach. So him and we have old man dad coach and young college plays in college coach, and the two of us are going to be coaching this group of 7-year-olds next year. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a new challenge. I've always wanted to coach, just never really had the time. I'm not really sure I have the time now, but I'm going to have to kind of make it. So um,
Coaching Odd Couple. I kind of sense a TV sitcom.
right? Yeah, I kind of feel like I need to charge up a little GoPro and bring it to record like all of our stuff, and we'll turn it into like a sitcom, you know?
That's right. I like it.
YouTube comedy right here, old man and young kid coaching a soccer team.
It's
So
gold, comedy gold, Jerry.
that's right. That's right. It'll be fun. So I mean, I enjoy it. I love it. I also spent this week getting into a fight on Twitter, or not on Twitter, on YouTube. For
Got
not
into a fight on YouTube.
not I mean just kind of verbal jabs, nothing personal, nothing outlandish. It was through my own personal account. So one of the video series that I really enjoy watching is through the MLS, and which is Major League Soccer, and it is their instant replay series where they take referee situations or controversial calls within games and they go in and look at them as like, okay, well, here's why the referee made this call. Here's what, you know, some back and forth on maybe what it could have been, and maybe if the host agrees or disagrees with what should have been there. Now, the last couple years ago, the guy they had doing this series was really good and very informative, and he was very opinionated, but his opinions were based on the laws of soccer, and really he really knew the rules well. The guy that they have now doing it, and have for the last couple of years, he is trying to make the same outlandish opinionated like comments, but his opinions aren't based off of the laws of the games. It's just his opinion on how the referee should have called it. But if you can't lay, it's like saying in football, it's like, oh, well, that is a holding foul, but it's not, you know, it's not really holding because of all these other things that have to go into it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, so he only knows the one little bit of it and not all the other stuff that makes that not a foul or makes that not the call that the referee made. And so I got into a little spat with a few people, a few other commenters on YouTube, and that was kind of fun. Um, so there's that going for me. I
Is
don't
it
even
still ongoing, or did you guys just both walk away? Or
it all ended mutually, and I just kind of stopped. I mean, some of the comments that they made were just like, they didn't agree with me, and I said, well, you don't have to agree with me, and here's what it is. Like, I don't have a problem with this guy having an opinion. That was their big argument. Was I was They said that everybody should be allowed to have an opinion on how the referee should call the game. And that's great. You can have an opinion, but if your opinion is not based off of the facts and the laws that the referee has to abide by, then it's not that your opinion is wrong, but your opinion's wrong. Like the referee can't call it that way. Like it's like the referee would get in more trouble if he called it the way you thought he should. And it's it's just frustrating because so many people, especially with the popularity that soccer has become, this idea that these people know all the rules and all the stuff that's supposed to go into it. And uh, my son and I were doing the math the other day. I have been a licensed United States Soccer Federation referee for 23 years now.
Damn, you're old.
Yeah. So I've almost typed that into the comments, and I'm like, I've probably been a referee longer than you've been alive. You should probably stop arguing with me. But I didn't. You know, it's like these. It's just one of those things, and it's frustrating. And I know that it's like that for any sport. I'm sure football and baseball and basketball have all been through these things and their growth of as professional sports. The sideline, the armchair quarterbacks, and the whatever they call basketball, people. I don't really know.
Idiots.
Yeah. But,
I'm
it's.
sorry. If you like basketball, you're just wrong.
But there's that stuff, and it kind of made me, if anyone's listening to this and has some free time on their hands, I would love to, and knows how to edit video. I would love to basically do the same thing that they're doing, except do it better. So I just need somebody who's willing to go through, I don't know, like 15 soccer games a week and edit it down into the most controversial calls, and I'll just do the voiceover for it. I don't have time
There
to
you
edit the
go.
video. That's at let's just round up to 2 hours per game. You're only looking at 30 hours of footage you got to go through.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, no big deal, right?
No biggie.
Yeah,
I'm sure work wouldn't mind if you stayed home and said, "Hey, I got to spend this entire week editing video
right.
of
Yeah,
soccer games. Sorry, matches."
yeah. You can call them games. I don't have a problem with that. That's what I call them. Yeah, there's all these grand ideas that I have that I would love to do for a YouTube channel like that. I would love to go through and do tactical analysis of soccer games, and I'm sure there's maybe one or two people out there in the world that would actually want to see that as well. But to me, it would be fun and fun to do and create. But that's a lot. It takes a lot of time to do that. I mean, it takes me just to edit an episode of Geekvice Gaming of the Civ 6 multiplayer that I'm doing right now. One episode takes me about, all in all, about 2.5 hours to get it broken down, and that doesn't include uploading it to YouTube. So
That's actually not too terribly bad. I mean,
no,
now
it's
just multiply that by 30 and
right. Yeah. So that's the kicker is I'd be able to do like one game a month at that rate, and that just doesn't work. If you're gonna do analysis of games, you got to do it every week. So
yeah.
that's
Truth.
maybe one day when I can retire and or somebody can pay me to not work. So if anyone wants to fund that or has some free time so they want to do some editing, come hit me up on geekvice@gmail.com and let me know, and maybe we can work something out. I don't know. I don't know. But the other stuff that I had going on, so since I have to do something in the evenings, I can't just sit and not do anything. I have been finally trying to catch up on Into the Badlands, the final series of that. I'm not gonna. I'll talk more on this probably in the next episode when I actually get to finish it because I've got 3 episodes left to finish the whole series. And for those of you that don't know, Into the Badlands is on AMC. It's 3 seasons. 2 of them are actually on Netflix. The third season just ended, so it should be showing up on Netflix soon. But it's actually it's created by Miles Millar, Alfred Gough, and stars Daniel Wu. You might
The
know
show was
him.
badass. I haven't gotten past the first season yet, but I
Oh,
like it. I
it's
like it
yeah,
a lot.
it is really good, and some of the actors in the and actresses in this are really good. If you are into things like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, you will really like this. The storyline is completely different from anything I've ever seen before, which makes it a lot of fun. A lot of wire work, martial arts stuff, which looks really cool. And I, my opinion is the first season's fight scenes were really good. The second seasons were a little bit better. The third seasons have gone a little bit over the top, in my opinion, but
Okay.
it kind of fits with. I mean, for God's sakes, they're like the storyline of this thing really has no reason for it not to be over the top. I mean, there's stuff that's going on in this thing that you're just like, really? Like, I'm not sure physics works that way, but it still looks really cool, so I'll go with it.
Yeah, we ignore physics. It's
Yeah,
it's all for entertainment.
yeah. So, but really good. Lots of kind of political intrigue. Just a post-apocalyptic type scenario, which is really cool. So I'll break that down a little bit more when I actually get to finish the series and kind of give you a full thing of the whole series. But if you want, you can go check out the episodes that are out now, and so then you'll know more when we talk about it. The other thing that I did, so a couple weeks ago when we couldn't, I think I left. Well, it was the last week that we couldn't record. I was traveling to Houston for work, and I needed something to do on the plane. So I that was also when I was getting all my digital comic books back up and running. That was so that I could take some. And I grabbed the series that I had started but never really got very far into, called The Sixth Gun. This is published by Oni Press. It is created by Cullen Bunn and Brian Hurt. Colin Bunn's the writer. Brian Hurt's one of the artists for it, and colorist. Really, really, really good story. I've finished the first story arc. On to the second one now. This thing has a ton of issues. It's at 50 issues in the main run, which I think it's actually done. And then it has a couple of spin-offs that are, 3 to 5 issues each. So uh, all of them written by Colin Bunn, which to me makes it kind of the perfect thing when you can tell the story is all his story, and um, it all kind of connects together. So it's really good, really good. I really enjoy it. It's the story. So the first arc, you could tell he kind of wrote this one with the idea that this could be all it was if it didn't sell, but it sold so well and people enjoyed it so much that he got to continue his story. Um, but what it is it's a western. So if you like westerns, check it out. Um, there is there are these 6 guns that have been imbued with magical abilities. And the only way that those guns can be taken from the person who wields them is if that person dies. So once you have the gun, it is yours and it's tied to you, and if anyone else tries to use it, it will hurt that person. Um,
That's the way it should be anyway, right?
right, exactly. It's like, fingerprint identification type thing. Uh, kind of like really kind of cool. But some of these guns, they do. Try to think of what if I'd have been smart, I would have like actually written stuff down on what all these guns do. But like one of them brings back the dead, creates like almost like golem type people that they've killed that gun had killed. So you can bring them back and they can be your soldiers for you. One of them shoots like a hand cannon, basically. Like you've got a giant cannon in your hand, and you shoot this gun, and it does massive amounts of damage. Uh, One gun can actually give you visions of the future. Um, let's see, what else is there? One gun can actually heal all your wounds. So as long as you're hanging on to the gun, you can't die and you never grow old, which is interesting.
I like this gun.
Yeah. So I mean, there's six of these guns. They all have little different things. Um, the idea kind of is that they're born of pure evil, and so it's really interesting in that dynamic and that dichotomy of it and how they're going to stop these people. And it doesn't really have a true like hero of the story. It's almost kind of like a Deadpool-esque main character in the sense that he's kind of doing good, but only because he doesn't want he's less evil than the bad guys. So um, that makes it kind of fun in the storytelling and allows for different things to come up. And so I highly recommend it. All these books came out. They started coming out in 2010 and ran through 2016. So 6-year run, 50 issues. Definitely worth checking
I'd
out.
like to see that turned into a TV series.
This would be a really good TV show.
It sounds like it would be.
Really good. I mean, yeah, that I hadn't even thought about that. That really would be a lot of fun. And it would be really good on something like like a Netflix original, Amazon Prime original, something where they don't have to have or AMC, where they can just give a little bit more, make it a little bit more gruesome. Not gruesome, but show a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Well, you had me at show a little bit more, and my imagination took over.
Yeah, yeah. It could definitely be done because I mean the sidekick of the main character, the one who actually holds the sixth gun, the one that can see the future, is the daughter of a preacher that stopped these evil people once before, and so that would actually work out really well.
All right. Well, we need to pitch this idea to somebody.
Yeah, who do we got that
Who
can?
do we talk to?
Yeah, let's call up. See, Oni Press. I don't know. Oni Press doesn't have a. I don't think Oni Press has a television side, so we'll have to figure out how to get that. We need to work on licensing. Maybe we should call Cullen Bunn. Cullen Bunn, if you're listening, um, help us out, man. Get this to a TV producer. Let's make a TV show out of this. It'd be really cool. Really
Yeah,
cool.
we'll contact the two producers from Game of Thrones.
There you go. Yeah, they're not doing anything.
Well, according to everybody on the internet, they're doing nothing but screw up Game of Thrones, which I disagree with. I'm loving it.
Yeah, well, Game of Thrones is almost over. Isn't like the series finale like next week or something?
Yeah, last episode next Sunday.
And that's the full on like series finale, like done, right?
That's it. Yeah, it's
See?
over.
See, those producers aren't doing anything. They're just sitting around. So, yeah.
Ah, yeah. they're counting their money. I think that takes a lot of time because they made a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well,
I did want to talk about it, but not until after the finale. So,
sure, sure.
um, if you don't mind me talking in spoiler language,
No, we will.
because I know you've never watched it.
I have not. I have watched. I think I watched the very first episode, maybe the first couple, because I started to get into it and then got sidetracked, probably by Marvel movies or TV
Can't
shows.
imagine that.
Yeah, I get sidetracked a lot. Or,
Yeah, I want to talk about it. The funniest thing about it is I just remember, like probably season 3, 4, and 5, or 3 and 4 specifically was not all that exciting. I mean, exciting stuff happened, but it was like the middle of the show, and you're just like, I hardly remember them because
yeah,
just so much has happened on that show. But all of a sudden now, everything Game of Thrones for me is great because I'm just enjoying this last season so
yeah.
much.
Well, and that's always good. Like I almost kind of like some of these where um, you get this. What do you want to say? Like this finale, this finality to it. Like the end is coming, and it's not like so many times you don't know it's the series finale until after that season is already ended, and then it's like, oh well, they're not picking it up anymore. Like, oh, okay, well that was a good ending then. Like that makes sense, but with some of these where the end is there and you're like, hey, this is the end and it's coming, go, and you get to kind of you enjoy that build up to the very end. Like that's half the battle right there.
It is, it was like Endgame was for me.
Yeah,
that feeling of at least I know what all of this led up to. That's what I'm going through with Game of Thrones is we're ticking off the people who are dying and we're seeing how the story is moving forward. It's like I finally get to see all this years of dedication where it's going to lead. And
yeah,
a lot of people are complaining about the pacing and everything else. I am not one of those people. I am loving every second of this. Yeah, there's
yeah.
some things I disagree with, but it's mostly because I didn't want that character to die or something like that. It's not because it was poorly done. Just like, damn it, I wanted that person to live. But other than that,
Yeah.
phenomenal. I'm loving it.
Oh, that's good. That's really good, and it's one of the things that I wish more American television shows would do because the BBC does this quite a bit, where they say, "Hey, we're gonna give you 3 seasons, or we're gonna give you 5 seasons, and here you go, tell your story in that amount of time."
Yeah,
and you get the writers then know I got from start to finish and here we go. It's like even with comic books, it's like sometimes the ongoing stuff gets hard because it's not really ongoing. You've got these little pieces here and there that you're doing, and so it just doesn't, you know if you had like, it's where trade paperbacks are really nice. You have a start and you have an end and you have a story. They can write the whole thing, and I feel like that's kind of the same thing. Game of Thrones is falling right in line with that, where we're gonna start and we already know the end. Now it's just getting there, and
yeah.
it, that's awesome. I'm glad that I am glad that it is doing as well as it is. And I'm excited to finally go back and watch it. But um, I
Well, if
just,
you're gonna go back and watch it, I don't want to spoil it
oh
for you.
no, man, dude. By the time I get there is a lot of, like, what is it, like 10 seasons, 8 seasons,
It's 8.
eight
Yeah,
seasons
this is
at
season 8.
10 episodes a season, right? Ish.
There's only 6 in this last one, but
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So I mean, we're looking at 80 episodes. That's 80 hours worth of, like, anything you tell me now, by the time I get there, I'm not gonna remember what you told me. You're fine. I mean, I get like
Fair enough.
that's one of the problems that I have with all this stuff going on. I only watch about like maybe 1 or 2 episodes. So when I say Into the Badlands, I've got 3 episodes left to finish the whole series. Like, yeah, but those 3 episodes might actually take me a week to actually watch. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get to binge stuff like you do. So
Well, we're not binging Game of Thrones.
well,
We've watched it week by week for the entirety, but I am going to go back and rewatch it once it's all over with.
yeah, and be able to just plow through it from beginning to end, watch it in one
Yeah,
weekend.
and see what I missed because now that it's coming to an end, I'm starting to get people's names straight. But there for a long time, if they weren't on the screen and somebody just said somebody's name, I'd be like, I don't know who the hell that is.
Yeah,
And then they would show him, it's like, oh yeah, now I know who that is. And then they'd say his name again, it's like, I don't know who that is.
yeah. Well, and it'd be fun to kind of go back and be able to watch for foreshadowing. That's one of the things that I've enjoyed
Yes,
going back,
yes.
and I've been going back and watching all the Marvel movies with my family and going back and watching them all in chronological order, except for obviously the new things that keep coming out after we started this process, and uh, so it's kind of been fun, like going through and picking out the foreshadowing that of what I know is coming in Infinity War and Endgame and that kind of stuff. And so it's been really fun picking up the little things here and there that and so I can only imagine that Game of Thrones has got the same stuff where if you were to go back and watch it and that like after this is done and you go back and rewatch it and like, oh, look at that, they actually like set that up that happened like 3 episodes later, but because you were watching it week to week you don't always pick up on it. So
Exactly. Yeah, if it's binged and shit just happens one right after the other, I think it's going to be that way. It's going to be like, oh, I didn't catch that the first time. Oh, that makes sense. That
yeah,
kind of thing. And
yeah,
my wife doesn't want to rewatch it, so I'm going to rewatch it while she's in bed. So I'm going to have to remember not to just go, holy shit, really loud and wake her up. So,
yeah, yeah. I got that same problem. That same problem.
yeah.
All right,
It's,
I think that is probably a good place to put a fork in this thing. I know the last few episodes have been really long, so this one we'll keep it right at our time frame that we're shooting for. And but hey, guys, be ready because we got some more stuff coming and lots of good episodes coming down the pipe. We will be taking a little bit of a break here for a couple of weeks with some traveling and some vacations. Kip and I both are traveling for work next week. And then I am gone the week after that for a little family float trip after Memorial Day. So we might be able to fit something in between, maybe, but the stars have to align, and we got to be able to record some stuff. So if not, we'll be back, in June, which is really weird to say, but
it is weird to say. Hey, you never know. I may just be so excited from the finale, I just may record my thoughts.
there you go. Do it, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Throw it up there for
Yeah.
the world
I
to
may do it
see.
because if it's like last Sunday, we watch it at a friend's house. I'm going to get home. It's like, I cannot sleep. And
Yeah.
then you watch YouTube videos of people's reaction to the episode. So I could be all hyped up on the Game of Thrones.
There you
So you
go.
never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. You can do it. Do it. That would be awesome. So, all right, everybody. Well, you know what you can do. You can go check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/geekvice. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at Geekvice. You can follow him at, wait, there it is. There's my finger. You can follow him at Kip Killigan. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just head over to the Facebook page. There's a little tab there for YouTube, or go search for Kip Morph on YouTube. And of course, as always, you can reach us by email at geekvice@gmail.com. Thanks, everyone, for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next time.
Later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.
Stop.